Imagine standing at over 12,000 feet above sea level, in the thin, freezing air of the Bolivian, staring at stone blocks so precisely cut that even modern engineers hesitate before trying to replicate them. This is Puma Punku, a site so baffling that it has sparked debates, documentaries, and countless theories about lost civilizations and forgotten technologies. Massive red sandstone slabs weighing more than 100 tons lie scattered as if dropped by giants, while smaller andesite blocks display cuts so sharp and symmetrical they resemble machine-milled components. But here's the mystery. This site predates the Inca Empire. It belongs to a civilization that thrived centuries before Europeans arrived in the Americas, and yet, the level of precision found here challenges everything we think we know about ancient engineering. How were these stones cut with such accuracy? How were they transported across rugged terrain without wheels, iron tools, or beasts of burden? And why does Puma Punku look less like ancient ruins and more like the remnants of an advanced construction project frozen in time? Puma Punku is part of the larger Tiwanaku complex near Lake Titicaca, linked to a powerful pre-Incan civilization that flourished between 300 and 1000 AD at first glance. The site appears chaotic, blocks scattered in every direction, as if dismantled by some catastrophic event. But look closer, and patterns begin to emerge. Many of the stones are carved into intricate H-shaped blocks, each one nearly identical in dimension. Their surfaces are smooth, their edges crisp, and their internal angles remarkably precise. Some blocks featured perfectly drilled holes and L-shaped interlocking joints designed to fit seamlessly with neighboring stones. There is no mortar, no cement, just stone meeting stone with a level of contact so tight that even a razor blade can barely slip between the joints. Modern archaeologists have measured these cuts and found tolerances within fractions of a millimeter. And that's where the real mystery begins, because achieving that level of precision today typically requires advanced tools, diamond-tipped drills, and controlled machinery. The materials themselves add another layer to the puzzle. The red sandstone used in the largest blocks was quarried about 10 kilometers away, while the hard andesite, far more difficult to shape, originated from quarries across Lake Titicaca, over 90 kilometers from the site. Transporting stones weighing up to 130 tons across uneven terrain and water without wheels, draft animals, or metal tools seems almost impossible. Yet somehow, the Tiwanaku people did exactly that. Archaeologists propose that the stones were moved using ramps, ropes, wooden rollers, and large labor forces. But no definitive evidence of such transport systems has been found at the scale required. Even today, moving a 100-ton block requires cranes, reinforced vehicles, and precise planning. So how did an ancient civilization accomplish this feat at high altitude, centuries before the Industrial Revolution? Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Puma Punku lies in the stone cutting itself. The andesite blocks show signs of straight channels, drilled holes with consistent diameters, and sharp internal corners that appear almost machined. Some researchers argue that advanced stone tools, combined with abrasion techniques using sand and water, could explain the smooth finishes. Experimental archaeologists have demonstrated that copper tools, stone hammers, and patience can indeed shape hard rock. But critics point out that the uniformity and repetition of the H-blocks suggest standardized production process, something closer to modular engineering than hand carving. The precision of right angles and flat surfaces raises uncomfortable questions. Were there lost techniques, now forgotten? Or are we underestimating the ingenuity and skill of ancient craftsmen? Adding to the intrigue is the site's apparent unfinished state. Puma Punku looks like a construction project abruptly halted. Many blocks appear partially shaped, others never fully assembled. Some stones bear carved grooves, believed to have held metal clamps, possibly made of a copper arsenic alloy, poured molten into place to secure joints. If true, this suggests a sophisticated understanding of metallurgy and structural reinforcement. Yet the exact purpose of Puma Punku remains debated. Was it a ceremonial platform? A ritual gateway? An elite architectural complex? Theories range from religious symbolism tied to cosmic alignments to political displays of power meant to impress neighboring cultures. Whatever its function, the craftsmanship suggests it held immense importance. And then there's the question of time. Radiocarbon dating and archaeological evidence place Puma Punku within the Tiwanaku period, but some fringe theories claim it is far older, thousands, even tens of thousands of years old. Mainstream archaeology firmly rejects these claims, pointing to consistent cultural artifacts that tie the site to known pre-Incan civilizations. Still, the debate persists because of the site's extraordinary precision. It challenges our perception of technological progress. We tend to imagine ancient societies as primitive compared to us, but Puma Punku forces us to reconsider that narrative. Precision does not always require electricity, complexity does not always require computers, and innovation does not always follow a straight, predictable path. Modern engineers who attempt to replicate Puma Punku stonework often encounter unexpected difficulties. Achieving perfectly flat surfaces and sharp internal corners in andesite requires specialized cutting tools and significant time. When scaled to the size and number of blocks found at the site, the task becomes monumental. Yet the Tiwanaku accomplished it in an era without steel, chisels, or powered saws. This suggests not impossibility but mastery. Mastery of geometry, mastery of labor organization, mastery of patience. Perhaps what seems mysterious today is not evidence of lost high technology, but proof that ancient civilizations were far more capable than we assume. So what happened to Puma? Around 1000 AD, the Tiwanaku civilization declined, possibly due to climate shifts that disrupted agriculture around Lake Titicaca. Without a stable food supply, urban centers would have weakened. Over centuries, earthquakes and human interference may have toppled and scattered the stones, leaving the fragmented landscape we see today. Spanish colonizers later dismantled parts of the site for building materials. What remains is a puzzle, one that invites, rather than simple answers. Puma Punku stands not as evidence of aliens or lost super technologies, but as a monument to human ingenuity pushed to extraordinary heights. In the end, the true mystery of Puma Punku may not be how it was built, but why we find it so hard to believe that ancient people could achieve such precision. When we look at those laser-straight cuts and perfectly aligned joints, we see a reflection of our own assumptions about the past. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden in these stones. If civilizations over 1,000 years ago could shape mountains with such skill, what other achievements have been lost to time? What other sites lie buried, waiting to challenge our understanding of history? Puma Punku reminds us that the past is not a primitive shadow of the present. It is a vast, complex story, and we are only beginning to uncover its deepest chapters. But the deeper we investigate Puma Punku, the more we realize that precision alone does not define its mystery. Planning dois. The layout of the site suggests deliberate architectural symmetry, with platforms, gateways, and stone alignments that may have corresponded to celestial events. Some researchers believe the structure once formed part of a grand ceremonial complex connected to the spiritual worldview of the Tiwanaku people. Imagine the original site not as scattered ruins, but as a perfectly assembled monumental platform. Its stones locked together in geometric harmony, metal clamps binding critical joints, polished surfaces reflecting the intense Andean sun. In that reconstructed vision, Puma Punku transforms from a pile of broken blocks into a powerful symbol of order imposed upon nature. The question then shifts from how did they cut these stones to what knowledge guided their design. Geometry is not accidental. Repetition is not random. The uniform H blocks hint at a system in architectural language, suggesting that builders followed standardized measurements and perhaps even templates. That level of organization implies skilled planners, trained artisans, and a society capable of mobilizing and sustaining large-scale construction projects at extreme altitude. Sehat de roterist. There is also the human factor, often overlooked in favor of sensational theories. High-altitude societies develop remarkable physical resilience. The Tiwanaku people lived and worked in conditions that challenge modern visitors within minutes. Thin oxygen levels demand adaptation. Cold nights require endurance. Yet these same environmental pressures may have shaped a disciplined, tightly coordinated labor force capable of extraordinary feats. Construction at Puma Punku likely involved generations of accumulated knowledge, passed from master stoneworkers to apprentices. Stone shaping is not simply about tools, it is about technique, angle of strike, pressure control, abrasion, timing, and finishing methods refined through years of experience. What appears machine-like to us may actually reflect thousands of hours of human refinement. In a world without digital measurement tools, craftsmen relied on string lines, sight alignment, and careful repetition. Precision emerges not from technology alone, but from patience multiplied across time. And yet, even with these grounded explanations, certain features continue to provoke debate. Some internal cuts appear so clean that they challenge conventional hammer and chisel methods. Drill holes exhibit uniform depth and symmetry, raising questions about the rotational tools used. Experimental archaeologists have recreated similar effects using bow drills combined with abrasive slurry, but the process is painstakingly slow. Now imagine repeating that process hundreds of times. The labor investment would have been enormous. This forces us to confront an uncomfortable possibility. Perhaps ancient societies valued monumental construction differently than we do. Where we prioritize speed and efficiency, they may have prioritized permanence and symbolism. Time itself may have been their greatest resource. If a structure took decades or even a century to complete, that was not inefficiency, it was devotion. Ultimately, Puma Punku challenges not just archaeology, but perception. We live in an age that equates progress with complexity and assumes that earlier eras must have been technologically inferior. But history rarely moves in a straight line. Knowledge can flourish, disappear, and re-emerge in new forms. Techniques can be mastered and later forgotten. When we look at the razor-sharp edges and interlocking joints of Puma Punku, we are not witnessing impossibility. We are witnessing a peak of specialized skill within a specific cultural moment. The site remains silent, its stones scattered across the plateau, refusing to offer simple answers. And perhaps that silence is what keeps the mystery alive. Because Puma Punku does not just ask how it was built, it asks whether we have underestimated the past all along. So, as the sun sets over the Bolivian plateau and shadows stretch across the shattered stones of Puma Punku, we're left with something far more powerful than a simple mystery. We're left with perspective. These blocks cut with astonishing precision, transported across impossible distances, assembled with geometric mastery, not just remnants of an ancient structure. They are evidence of human ambition carved into stone, whether shaped with copper tools, stone hammers, and endless patience, or guided by techniques we still struggle to fully understand. Puma Punku stands as a reminder that history is deeper, more complex, and far more impressive than we often assume. The real question isn't whether ancient builders had advanced technology. The real question is this: what else have we underestimated about our ancestors? What other achievements lie buried beneath time, waiting to challenge what we think is possible? If this mystery made you question everything you thought you knew about the ancient world, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're only scratching the surface. There are more forgotten sites, more unexplained structures, and more historical puzzles that continue to defy modern logic. Leave a comment below and tell us what you think was Puma Punku, the result of lost techniques, extraordinary craftsmanship, or something even more surprising. And if you enjoyed exploring one of the most precise and puzzling ancient sites on Earth, share this video with someone who loves mysteries as much as you do, because the past is full of secrets, and we're just getting started.